Before there was a sun, before there was a single star, there was a word, not a book, a word. And that word was already speaking, already alive, already God. This is how the Gospel of John chooses to begin the story of Jesus. Not with a manger, but with eternity itself. John's Gospel is different from Matthew, Mark, and Luke. Those three tell the story of Jesus mostly in order: birth, ministry, miracles, death, resurrection. John does something bolder. He starts before the beginning. He wants you to know, before you read a single miracle, exactly who this Jesus is: the eternal Word of God, present at creation itself. Most scholars believe John was written later than the other Gospels, likely toward the end of the 1st century, possibly by the Apostle John in his old age, writing to a community that needed to be reminded, clearly and philosophically, that Jesus was not just a good teacher. He was God, wrapped in flesh. These first 15 verses are often called the prologue, and they read almost like a hymn. Let's start where John starts. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. The Scottish New Testament scholar William Barclay, in his widely read daily study Bible, dug into the word John chose here, logos. In Greek, logos meant both word and reason. A Greek reader would have heard it and thought of the rational order behind the universe, the unfailing pattern of the stars, the seasons, the laws of nature. A Jewish reader would have heard it and thought of Genesis, the God who simply spoke, "Let there be light," and light existed. Barclay's insight is that John is speaking to two very different audiences in the very same sentence, telling both of them, the thing you've spent your life wondering about has a name. N.T. Wright, the New Testament scholar and former Bishop of Durham, makes a related point about why John opens this way at all. Wright notes that John is deliberately echoing the opening line of Genesis and calls it a move that borders on blasphemy, unless it's actually true. In Wright's reading, John isn't just introducing a character. He's telling us that in this man, heaven and earth have started coming together in a whole new way. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. Life and light are two words that will echo through this entire gospel. Wright describes this life and light pairing as the Word challenging the darkness before creation, and now challenging the darkness still found within creation itself. The same divine pattern from Genesis, replaying in a person. Later in this gospel, Jesus will say, "I am the light of the world," and "I am the resurrection and the life." The seeds are planted here in verse 4. David Guzik's widely used Enduring Word commentary highlights something else worth knowing about this whole passage. He notes that these opening verses quietly establish something like the doctrine of the Trinity. The Word is eternal, is fully God, and yet is described as distinct from and in relationship with God the Father. That's not something John states outright in one line. It's something these verses build, sentence by sentence, and it sets up everything that follows. There was a man sent from God, whose name was John. The same came for a witness, to bear witness of the light, that all men through him might believe. He was not that light, but was sent to bear witness of that light. That was the true light, which lighteth every man that cometh into the world." Suddenly the poetry pauses for a name. John, not the Gospel's author, but John the Baptist, introduced here for the first time. Matthew Henry, whose commentary on the whole Bible has been in continuous use since the early 1700s, made a simple but striking observation about why a witness was even needed. "Nothing shows the darkness of the human mind more clearly," he wrote, "than the fact that when the light itself appeared, people still needed someone to point it out to them." That's really the whole function of these 4 verses. The text goes out of its way, twice, to clarify that John the Baptist was not that light, but was sent to bear witness of that light. The messenger is not the message. He was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not. He came unto his own, and his own received him not. But as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of God, even to them that believe on his name, which were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. This is the heartbreak in the middle of the hymn. Matthew Henry captured the tragedy of it plainly. "The world little knew," he wrote, "that its own Maker was once living among it as one of its own, that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob was sojourning, unrecognized, in the very land of his own people." But verse 12 turns the whole passage on its hinge. Henry's commentary is almost tender on this point. He wrote that the privilege of adoption belongs entirely to Jesus Christ, describing it as the moment the Son of God became a Son of Man, so that human beings might become children of God. Not by bloodline, not by human effort or decision. Verse 13 makes that explicit. Becoming part of God's family, in John's telling, isn't inherited, it's received. "And the Word was made flesh, and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John bare witness of him, and cried, saying, This was he of whom I spake. He that cometh after me is preferred before me, for he was before me." And here is the line the entire prologue has been building to. "The Word was made flesh, and dwelt among us." N.T. Wright highlights that the Greek phrase behind "dwelt among us" literally means pitched his tent, a deliberate echo of God's presence dwelling in the tabernacle in the Old Testament. Wright's summary of this whole passage is disarmingly simple. He says the entire theme of this gospel is that if you want to know who the true God is, you look long and hard at Jesus. David Guzik adds one more layer worth carrying with you. He notes that the glory described here isn't flashy spectacle. It's glory that is full of grace and truth, holding together God's high standard and his deep mercy, never sacrificing one for the other. So what do we do with 15 verses like this? Just one thought to sit with. This passage says the true light lighteth every man that cometh into the world, meaning it isn't only about who Jesus was 2,000 years ago. It's an invitation asking whether you'll receive him now. Not earn him, not inherit him, receive him. That's worth carrying with you today.